Welcome to the George FTTV YouTube channel. On the agenda today, we have some massive injury news that has dropped this morning, and yeah, it just keeps coming. We had Dacos and Petrarca last week, I believe. They might still play round one, I think. Sounds like Petrarca is not too bad, and Dacos trained fine the other day, but still he's got to manage that plantar fasciitis, so we'll keep tabs on that. But this morning, a rumour circulating last night, I think it was Mitch Cleary or Tom Morris, about PHILLIPOU was sore, didn't attend training, came out this morning that he's out for 10 to 14 weeks. Roland Marshall is out for 5 to 8 weeks. Pretty big, been massively durable player. Rowan. Elliot Yo's also got unlucky with a tackle, basically got caught under a tackle, has done a syndesmosis, and I think it was an MCL, some sort of knee injury. And also Josh Smiley has a minor hamstring. He's been is a pretty popular pick. Looked like he was going to get some inside mid-time at Richmond. One to monitor, I guess. Probably will be right for round one, but you never like to see players do hamstrings. So, yeah, that pretty big implications, because I think PHILLIPOU, when you lose a 300k player in the forward line, it throws your whole structure out of whack. Do you want to get him up to Horn Francis or Rankin or something, or I don't know, whoever else? Seen a little bit of Shea Bolton, although I don't like that pick. Or do you go down to a rookie? And then what do you do with that 200k? So it feels like all our teams just got worse, because you're not going to find a like for like with PHILLIPOU. So yeah, you got to give or take from somewhere, and yeah, your team's just going to get worse. So I've had a bit of a play with it today, and I've gone down to Hugo Garcia. Very speculative, like very much a watch, and it's end of January. The season is creeping up on us. 43 days. What's that? 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. I can't do maths in my head at the moment, but yeah, it's pretty close already. So, yeah, honestly, feels like just not yesterday, but not long ago, we were doing late in the season and Lions won the flag. So I don't know. It feels like it's gone very fast. But Hugo Garcia, I look at the Saints. We'll do a bit of a look at Hugo, but maybe he's next in line for some mid-time, but we don't know that. Maybe practice games will tell us that. But yeah, let me know what you're doing with what you've done with PHILLIPOU, because yeah, if you have played with the team picker, I'm sure you've played around with what you can do there. And then Rowan Marshall, well, I have seen a few Boyd R2 teams. I don't like it. I guess, you know, when Rowan's out for 5 to 8, predicted anyway, or estimated. So if he does miss round one, does Marshall just come straight back in as soon as he's ready? Do they play Rowan more forward so Boyd can ruck? I don't really know much about Boyd. I know he won the Sandful MVP, but does he have forward craft? Brownlee's around the groundwork, not the best from what I read, but maybe I should verify that source. But I did read somewhere, might have been Saints TV I was watching, I think Dodson was better around the ground when they rucked, something like that. So, gee, that's risky, going Boyd R2. I wouldn't do it. And not only that, if you're going Boyd R2, I guess are you going Flynn on the bench and you swap him over? But if you don't really want 270k on the bench, and Flynn's another one, he might not. I'm hearing mixed things on Flynn. Like he needs to be that ruck. BJ Williams might be ahead. I've heard from 2AFL.com.au sources. Well, not directly, but from what I've read, like popping up on Twitter. One was on the Traders podcast. One was, I think someone named Eliza, I don't know the last name, said that BJ Williams could be ahead. So, yeah, if you're going Boyd and then a loophole, you're probably running one less cash generator. So for me, if Boyd plays round one and you know that he probably loses his spot when Rowan's back, I think you just pick him anyway, and maybe he plays throughout the year. He's 99k as well, so maybe we get one price rise out of him, and that should be decent. But at R2, absolutely not for me. If Rowan's out for longer, for whatever reason, and Boyd's doing well, then you kind of hit jackpot, because not having him on the field will be a problem. But I think we'll just yeah, the timeline, it's hard to be it's just guesswork how long Rowan will be out for. He's going at R3 for me. So, yeah. Yeah, Elliot Yeo as well. What does that mean for... I keep looking at this screen. I prefer looking at this one than the camera, but Elliot Yeo's out. Who gets the mid-time? So we'll have a quick look at that, and then who's the last one on this list? Smiley. So not really much to talk about there, but let's look at Hugo Garcia first. Already have this open. So Hugo Garcia got CBAs 5, 6, and 7. And then probably not going to worry about looking at this. So let's look at his numbers in rounds 5, 6, and 7. These are all 37, 40%, 50%. All right, round 5, 6, 7. 55 DT. What's the TOG? 34 TOG. Okay, get rid of that game. Might have been sub 58 TOG here. Okay, so 55 average of 56% TOG with a little bit of CBAs. If he's like 75% TOG, does that go up to 75? Maybe. Bit more opportunity. Maybe CBAs get a bump. I don't know. One thing I did last year, which was a mistake, I traded in Winhager and I didn't read his draft profile. And his outside game was pretty non-existent, so I really should have known that. Draft Central, Hugo Garcia. So I think production is good. We like that. Tackling, we know that. Versatility, that's bad for Supercoach. I guess it could be good to earn a spot, but work rate is brilliant. We love to see that. Kicking, whatever. So his stats are 19 touches, 7 tackles. So that's pretty good. So yeah, at least you probably want mid-20s, I guess, but maybe it depends on the role. Did he play forward? How much mid-time did he get? Played as a high half forward. So 19 touches and 7 tackles as a high half forward. Extremely promising, I think. It's not getting the CBAs, getting those extra tackles at the source. All right, let's look at VFL numbers now. Oh boy, 160, 101, 103. This is brilliant. Very consistent too. Nothing under 90. No, there's one under 90, an 83. So 108 average in VFL in first year. That's pretty good. So yeah, this is looking really good if the opportunity comes. As much as I think I mentioned this in the last video I did, as much as I love Ross Lyon and what he's done, certainly at Freo and the mid 2010 Saints, or around the 2010 sort of era, I didn't understand why he persisted with players that are just not the future towards the end of the last year. It made no sense. Maybe that's just how he goes about it. You got to earn your spot pretty harshly. So I don't know. Hugo's going to stay for now, so we like this. 19 touches at half forward in juniors, 108 DT in the VFL. I guess he's competing with Winhager, and I don't know. I watched Winhager. I owned him for 1 week because he got suspended instantly when I brought him in, and then that was the time where all our defender rookies died as well. So I felt like it was a forced trade, but he played in the CBA role, got his opportunity, didn't really had some good games, but kicking was a massive issue for him, as was having sort of an outside game. So 2 pretty bad flaws as an inside mid, but he is versatile. He can play other roles effectively, and he's a good tagger as well, really good tagger. But yeah, Hugo with that high tackle count should have a good floor. So I think it is still wishful at this point with Garcia, but we just need him to get the mid-time. And you read the stuff about his preseason, it sounds like he's having a massive preseason, which we like. Extremely competitive, and getting to scuffs with PHILLIPOU at training and stuff like that. So that was good background checking. So we like that from Hugo. So he's in for now. Again, we'll see what happens in practice games. Maybe they don't give him the opportunity, but I think they should. All right, we'll look at Harry Boyd. Boyd is... we're going to have to look for VFL. Alright, that took me about 30 seconds to find that because I'm blind, but all I had to do was Control F and state. So these are Harry Boyd stats. We know they're pretty massive. A lot of hitouts. How much can you read into hitouts in SNFL? I don't know. Disposal count's not too bad. Seems to win a fair bit, so maybe he's good around the ground. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty good. No, we don't need to go all of them, but yeah, the stats look pretty good. Did win the MVP McGarry medal. So how's he going to go in the AFL? I have no idea. But I guess he's probably the best ruckman in the state league if he's winning an MVP. But yeah, for me, it's still R3, as I said before. You don't want trouble in the ruck. You don't want forced trades. And not only that, you probably have to run a loophole at R3. And then you need to get a ruck in. And then you got to like flex you can't cover with emergency. So you probably don't want to trade Boyd out. You just want to keep him at R3. So then, you know, if you're trying to get a ruck in elsewhere, then you're going to have your Boyd, your loophole, your other ruck, and then the ruck you trade in at flex. And you can't emergency your flex. So you're going to be stuck. So it's no from me for Boyd R2. But if there is a longer timeline and we get Flynn, and then it might be interesting. Then we'll talk. But for now, with this 5 to 8 week timeline, it's a no. Who gets CBAs for West Coast? I guess we'll look quickly at who gets them for the Saints. They could put Hunter Clark in there. Winhager, maybe he was injured. I can't remember. Dow, I think, is injured. Crouch is retired. Seb Ross, I think, retired. Zach Jones, they took out. Liam Stocker in there. Okay. And McRae's going to be in there. Maybe they put Sinclair a bit in there. Now, does this affect Sinclair? All these injuries? Do they put him in the midfield? Maybe a little bit. I've had a look through the defenders. They're just hard to pick. I don't know which ones I want. And I would pick some, like if Whitfield didn't have a buy, I think I'd be okay paying $5.90 for him. But yeah, one thing to know, if you are picking Whitfield and you haven't owned him before, be prepared for mid-game injury scares. It happens every second week without fail. But yeah, no soft tissue history, which is the main thing. So I have no idea what this midfield mix looks like. It's going to be McRae and Steele. And then how does Hugo not get a go? Like Hunter Clark, how many chances has Hunter Clark had? Windhager's had his chance. Like Zach Jones, surely not. Sinclair, I can see them putting him in there, but I think they're training halfback, so I assume they want him halfback. And Stocker, please, like it's not going to continue, surely. So yeah, we'll monitor that. Now look at West Coast CBAs. So this is a massive chunk, 72% on the season. So that's probably what, the first month or so. I forgot what year's timeline was. Yeah, 3 months or something. Harley Reid will be in there. Now, does this make Harley Reid more appealing? I don't know if he has the tank yet. The ceiling is great. The floor is quite poor, and he's also a tag target as well. So I don't think I'll go there. But yeah, very interesting to see his progress. Jinby, they don't really want in there. They want him down back, I think. Zane Shrew, is he the answer? Is Liam Duggan going to be in there? It's very messy. Yes, yeah, Tim Kelly as well. He'll be in there. Hutch had some in the last round, so I think I've played around with Hutchinson in the team. I put him in fantasy because he's a bit cheaper there. He's 380k there, whereas the base ones are 230k, so he's really not that much more Because, like, for example, like draftees are usually around 300k. So he's only 80k more than the average draftee, really, in that format. But that's another format. But 73 he scored. A few touches in the stoppages. But yeah, this was 37% CBAs. I think he has flexibility to play wing, but he looked alright. Yeah, it was like a 102k rookie last year, so yeah, I don't know. He's 230k. Is just wondering whether he gets midfield opportunity. I did read he was in limited training pre-Christmas, and then I read an article saying this is his first full preseason or something, so I don't know what to believe, but yeah, scored 102 Supercoach. So you remember on DFS, we're talking... we can switch to Supercoach. I always forget that, but I do like the DT stats because they're raw stats. Whereas Supercoach can, you get scaling and whatnot, but usually they're accurate enough. So yeah, 102. I mean, it's promising at GMHBA, and that was in an extremely bad loss as well. I think Jezza kicked 10. So he's one to watch as well. And then Maric. I've spoken about Maric in the last video, apparently playing a third tall role down back, and did take kick-ins when he played that role in juniors. So interesting. But yeah, I think that's it from me. Not much to discuss really. I guess the team's had some minor changes. I've added, I don't know what I've done. I've got Bont Butters. I said I probably won't start Bont, and now I've got him in. Yeah, some decisions to make. This year, it's hard to... We need 31 primos, so we need a lot of cash gen, so we've got to balance it out. Yes, we want points on the field early, but we also need to look after our team and have enough trade so that we have a really good post-buy team. Because post-buy, I guess it's a bit longer now, but now that I think it's the last buy round's around 16, but yeah, we should be done by around 14, 15, and that's still 8, 9, 10 weeks after that. And yeah, only takes one premium, stronger M8 versus a weaker M8. That could be 20, 30 points a week. That's 200 points. And that's just one slot for the rest of the season. So we need to make sure we pick the right players. And yeah, still torn. Am I happy to pay a little bit overs for players that are, captain options and most likely to be, top of their line or thereabouts? Sherry and Sheasel, I have absolutely no issue picking. Seeing a lot of issues with the other rucks. A few of them are copping knocks and limited preseason, whereas Sherry, yes, he's probably slightly overs because he had so many easy fixtures last year, but you just know he's going to be around the mark of the top and no soft tissue history and no issues in preseason, so just sign me up for that, whatever, I'll pay $660. And then Sheasel is Sheasel, and $635, it's a lot, but it's not like, I guess, yeah, it is a lot, but it's not like 700 from last year or anything where people paid 720 for Bont. So yeah, I think the mids, Bont, Butters, Dawson, and then the two Freo boys are the pool I'm picking from there. And I heard some good things on Sardis, and Ed Allen's getting pumped up by his teammates. Yeah, maybe we get bustling defense. Yeah, defense D5 to 8 is looking pretty damn weak, so hopefully we can fix that up. But I guess if Ollie Hollands, if I don't rage trade him, hopefully I don't, and resist if he has a poor game, but we can swing him back and stabilize the back line and maybe do our first upgrade, and then by round 7, 8 we can have no sub risk or anything like that by very early in the season, which I think will be good. So, but yeah. Again, it's too early to worry too hard about rookies. There's always some that pop up, so see how we go. But that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.